June 25, 2009. The world stopped spinning when news broke that Michael Jackson, the king of pop, had died at age 50. Fans collapsed in the streets. Celebrities wept on camera. The planet mourned a legend who had danced his way into billions of hearts. But behind the grief and shock, something darker lurked beneath the surface. In those final months, Michael had been preparing for his comeback tour. This is it. 50 shows in London, a chance to reclaim his throne. Yet those closest to him watched with growing concern as he grew thinner, weaker, more fragile with each passing day. His personal chef later revealed he would go days eating almost nothing. Rehearsal footage showed a man fighting exhaustion, pushing through pain that radiated from every movement. His doctor, Conrad Murray, administered powerful drugs each night just so Michael could sleep. The pressure was crushing him. Financial debts exceeding $400 million hung over his head like a guillotine. Promoters demanded perfection. Fans expected miracles. But Michael Jackson was human, and humans break. The mansion on North Carolwood Drive became a prison of sleepless nights and mounting terror. He confided in friends that he felt trapped, that the tour felt like a death sentence he couldn't escape. One bodyguard remembered Michael saying he didn't think he would live to see the final show. Those words now echo with chilling prophecy. The night before his death, Michael left rehearsal in surprisingly good spirits, even dancing to Earth's song with renewed energy. Nobody knew these would be his last steps on stage. Nobody knew that within hours, the music would stop forever. The truth about what happened in that bedroom would take 15 years to fully emerge. When paramedics arrived at the mansion that Thursday morning, they found Michael Jackson's lifeless body on a bed, his personal physician performing chest compressions. Conrad Murray claimed he had discovered Michael not breathing just moments earlier. But the timeline didn't add up. Phone records would later reveal Murray had made several calls that morning, including one lasting 32 minutes, while Michael lay dying. Why hadn't he called 911 immediately? The ambulance rushed Michael to Uckler Medical Center, but doctors then knew the truth within minutes. He had been gone for over an hour. Murray had delayed, hidden evidence, and constructed a story that crumbled under the slightest examination. The autopsy revealed lethal levels of propofol in Michael's system, a powerful anesthetic meant only for surgical procedures. Murray admitted he had been giving Michael nightly infusions of this drug to treat his chronic insomnia. In a bedroom, without proper equipment, without training in anesthesiology. It was medical madness, and it killed the most famous entertainer on earth. But the deeper investigators dug, the stranger things became. Michael's family insisted he had been murdered, that powerful forces wanted him silenced. His sister LaToya appeared on television claiming her brother had predicted his own death, that he had told her they are going to kill me for my catalog. Michael owned half of Sony's music publishing empire, including the Beatles' catalog, worth billions. Had business rivals orchestrated his death? Evidence emerged that Michael had been threatened. Anonymous letters, strange phone calls, people following him. He had changed his will just weeks before his death, cutting out certain individuals and organizations. His children's nanny later testified that Michael seemed paranoid in his final weeks, convinced people around him weren't trustworthy. He was right to be afraid. For years, crucial evidence remained locked away in court files and sealed depositions. But time has a way of exposing secrets. In 2024, newly released documents revealed stunning facts about Michael's final days that investigators initially suppressed. Medical experts who examined Michael's body found injuries inconsistent with Murray's story. Bruising on his chest suggested someone had performed CPR far longer than Murray claimed, possibly trying to revive him after a prolonged period without oxygen. Needle marks covered his arms and legs, evidence of injections Murray never mentioned. Most disturbing were traces of drugs in Michael's system that Murray swore he never administered. Someone else had access to Michael Jackson. Someone else had been injecting him with substances. The pharmaceutical records painted a nightmare picture. In the 3 months before his death, Murray had ordered enough propofol to stock a small hospital. Where had it all gone? Michael's housekeeper testified she had found for equipment hidden in closets, oxygen tanks stashed in bathrooms, medical supplies scattered throughout the mansion. The house had become a makeshift clinic, and Michael was the unwilling patient. Financial documents revealed that AEG Live, the concert promoter, had been paying Murray $150,000 monthly to serve as Michael's personal physician. But the contract contained unusual clauses. Murray's payment depended on Michael performing. If the tour was cancelled, Murray got nothing. This created a catastrophic conflict of interest. Murray's job wasn't to protect Michael's health, but to ensure he made it on stage by any means necessary. Witnesses reported that in the final weeks, Michael could barely walk without assistance. He wore multiple layers of clothing because he felt perpetually cold. His speech sometimes slurred. These were signs of organ failure, of the body shutting down. Yet Murray kept administering drugs, kept pushing Michael toward opening night. Conrad Murray's trial in 2011 captivated the world, but it left many questions unanswered. Prosecutors painted Murray as a negligent doctor who made catastrophic mistakes. The defense argued Michael had injected himself with the fatal dose when Murray left the room. After weeks of emotional testimony, jurors convicted Murray of involuntary manslaughter. He served less than 2 years in prison for the death of Michael Jackson. To many, this seemed like justice denied. How could the doctor responsible for the King of Pop's death serve such a minimal sentence? But the trial had been carefully limited in scope. Prosecutors focused only on Murray's actions at final night, deliberately avoiding larger questions about who else bore responsibility. AEG Live faced a separate civil trial brought by Michael's family, who argued the promoter had negligently hired and supervised Murray. Internal email presented at trial showed AEG executives knew Michael was struggling. One executive wrote that Michael appeared scary thin, and another worried he seemed lost, cold, and afraid. Yet they pushed forward, concerned only about the financial disaster if the tour was cancelled. The jury ultimately sided with AEG, but the evidence revealed shocked the public. Text messages showed Murray complaining to the promoter that Michael was falling apart, that he needed psychiatric help. AEG's response was essentially to remind Murray who paid his salary. In recent years, insiders have spoken more freely. Musicians who worked on This Is It described watching Michael deteriorate in real time. One dancer remembered Michael collapsing during rehearsal, so weak he couldn't stand. Another recalled Michael begging for the tour to be postponed, saying he needed more time. His pleas fell on deaf ears. The machine demanded he perform, and Michael Jackson had spent his entire life doing what was demanded of him, even if it killed him. 15 years have passed since Michael Jackson took his last breath, and a complete picture has finally emerged from the shadows. This wasn't simply a case of one doctor's negligence. It was systemic failure, exploitation, and the ultimate cost of fame. Michael had spent 4 to 5 of his 50 years in the spotlight, performing since age 5. The Jackson 5 had made him famous, but fame had stolen his childhood, his privacy, his peace. By 2009, Michael was exhausted in every possible way, emotionally shattered by allegations and trials, financially trapped by debts and bad business deals, physically destroyed by decades of performing through injuries and pain. The vitiligo that depigmented his skin, the lupus that attacked his immune system, the chronic pain from burns suffered filming a Pepsi commercial in 1984, all of it had taken a cumulative toll. He had become addicted to painkillers years earlier, entering rehab multiple times but never fully escaping the cycle. The entertainment industry that had made Michael Jackson a billionaire ultimately consumed him. Promoters saw only dollar signs. Managers saw only percentages. Handlers saw only their own survival dependent on his continued performance. Nobody was willing to say stop, to sacrifice profits for one man's well-being. Michael's children, left without a father, grew up knowing their dad had been worked to death. His fans, who loved him unconditionally, learned their devotion had been weaponized by an industry that viewed Michael as product, not person. The truth buried with Michael Jackson is this: he didn't die from propofol alone. He died from a lifetime of exploitation, from being treated as less than human, from a system that valued his art more than his life. Conrad Murray administered the fatal dose, but countless others share responsibility for creating circumstances that made that moment inevitable. Today, Michael's music still plays. His moonwalk still inspires. But his death should haunt us, a reminder of the price we demand from those we call legends.